Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Perpetual Chess. We have a return guest that I am excited to catch up with. I'll introduce him in a minute, but first, as always, wanted to give a shout out to Chessable. We are recording this a week before the World Championship starts, but by the time you listen, the World Championship may be ongoing, or maybe it's already even passed. And if you want to brush up on our potential, some might say highly likely, soon to be world champion, then check out the new course, Gukesh's Masterful Moves by friends of the pod, WIM Natasha Regan and Matthew Ball. Be sure to check out everything else that Chessable has to offer. I also wanted to note that coverage-wise, of course, basically every Tuesday we come out with a new pod here on Perpetual Chess. The regular Tuesday episodes won't be talking about the World Championship as it unfolds, but I likely will do a bonus pod or two at other points, a little more quick hitting, discussing the World Championship and hopefully talking to a few people in Singapore. Now, as for this week's guest, he is a return guest who somehow our first interview was way back in September 2020, which I can't believe. But he is the 2010 champion of Armenia. He was the coach of the national team of Thailand. He's coached many title players, including Kevin Ming, who, of course, is a hero of this podcast for his long journey to the Grandmaster title. He's like me. He is a former poker pro, but of course, these days, he's best known as the founder and one of the lead content creators of the educational chess site Chessmood, which has been growing rapidly and continuing to expand their product offerings, as we will be discussing. But without further ado, let's welcome back to the program Grandmaster Avetik Grigoryan. Welcome back, Avetik.
And you have done so much for the chess world, so I'm always happy to come to your podcast. Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Yeah, it's good to catch up. It's been too long, although I did do an appearance on the Chessmood podcast. Should have mentioned the Chessmood podcast in the intro. So I don't feel like it's been that long since we talked, but it's been that long since I've interviewed you, and I'm excited to do that. We got a lot to discuss. But first, Avetik, I've been getting everyone's thoughts on the World Championship. A game or two may have already been played by the time people listen to this. So at great risk of you saying something that's already proven wrong, what are your quick thoughts on the World Championship?
I guess I will not bring something new there. So I think the world, including Grigoryan, agrees that he is the underdog. And I think so too, absolutely. I was in Chess Olympiads. I met both players, Gukesh and Ding, and the energy and everything. If nothing big changes, if no big surprises, I think that what everyone thinks. And as you mentioned, Kevin Go was a student whom I helped to become a grandmaster, but he's also my close friend. And now he's the CEO of Singapore Federation, and he's the guy who just came up with the idea, let's bring the World Championship match to Singapore. And I messaged him. I said, Kevin, you need backup plan, because personally, I don't think that Ding will lose the match. I think Ding will be crushed.
Yeah.
So have backup plan. What if it finishes earlier than it's the schedule? So my opinion is not different than most of the world.
Yeah, and maybe that's part of why I was checking out the events at the World Championship, and they've got side tournaments, they've got different Grandmaster lectures every day. I mean, there's always some events to go with it, but I did feel like there were more than I remember from other events. So maybe Kevin did take your advice.
Just in my book behind me, the Make No Small Plans, I think it's just written by Kevin. When I was in Olympiad, so it's in Budapest, we met first time in life. We have been in touch for years, but never met. And the way he thinks, the way he builds, the way he organized, the way he brought Google to become the sponsor, and everything he does is just make no small plans, excuseless mindset. And it's him who just organizes, let's also do this, let's also have that tournament, let's make this class, let's bring a girlfriend who will teach kids. So it's his brain. So yeah, this year it's gonna be many exciting things in Singapore.
Yeah, and I was just messaging with Maurice Ashley. He's already there. Like, I mean, it should be a lot of fun. Well, the event should be a lot of fun. Like you, I fear that the match may not be so dramatic. But listen, I've been wrong many times before, so maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised by a really close match. But anyway, we'll stop talking about something that may have already happened by the time people hear this, and let's get to some chess improvement optics. So I was checking out the Chessmood site, And in one of your articles, you mentioned chess improvement has never been so easy, but it's also never been so hard. Uh, why is that?
Um, it's much easier because at my time, back to let's say 15 years ago, 15 even like 20, I can say, right? 20 years ago when I was climbing to become a grandmaster. Yeah, 20 years ago I was like 15. To analyze a variation, to learn how to play against a particular opening, or to learn how to play yourself a particular opponent, you spend so much time to learn that opening. It was so difficult. It was like you would spend months and months and analyze things. Now there are so many sources, so many grandmasters teaching their opening repertoire. The chessable you mentioned, now Caruana gives his Archangelsk opening,
Yeah.
and it's just such a resource that we would dream to have such things. We would go and find through books, find some good instructive really games. Now you can find websites where you can find classical committed games. You can find such topics covered in such a high level. So everything is much, much better and much easier. Yet at the same time, I think there is overwhelming material on internet that can be so confusing. And at the same time, there are so many people who are not real coaches, but they create content, they felt they can make money, they do XYZ thing. And it's very difficult to understand what is the right source, what is the right person or right website, where to go and to learn. That became very tricky. And many people are unfortunately not finding the right sources and then jumping from one source to another, always trying to find that golden pill which will help them to improve.
Yeah, it's quite a challenge. You know, I was reviewing our prior interview because one question I always like to ask people, especially people who work with a lot of adult players, which I know when people on come aboard and join Chessmood, you often will do a call with them, look at their games. You might have even looked at mine, which is a scary thought that we'll we'll maybe discuss later. But the last time we chatted, I asked you what mistakes you commonly see, and one you mentioned was overly ambitious goals from newer players. Now, as we said, somehow that was 4 years ago, but I'm guessing that has not changed. Has that changed?
Um, it is true, it's still there, but I would not mention that as the number one issue. I would now, with more experience with adult improvers, much more than before, uh, I see a few big, big things with adult improvements. Um, so one is people think they don't improve, while actually they do.
Oh,
They do improve, but because the others are also improving, they don't feel that they improved. So we have table tennis at our office, and we often play between us. I'm now much better at table tennis than I was 3 years ago. But the guy who was beating me, it's still beating me
right.
because I got better. But when we were playing, he also got better. So that is one confusion that often people are really actually improving, especially when you are 2000 above. You compete with people who are improving themselves. They read books, they watch courses, they have they do some stuff, right? So this is one thing. People improve, but comparing to others, they don't feel that they improved. The second thing is um, they think that knowing more chess, it's getting better, it's playing better, but it is not. If it was about who knows more chess, maybe Carlsen would not be a world champion. Maybe Petter Lekov would be a world champion. I'm not sure. So it's not just about the knowledge you are getting. It's in everywhere. It's if there is a boxing match, yeah, it's not always the strongest guy wins, and it's not always the guy with best techniques wins. Often there is this inner spirit, this fighting spirit. How do you fight? How do you make your decisions? How decisive you are when you are playing? It's a fight, yeah, when you play. You make a move, you're like, oh, I should have played that. How do you get rid of that and continue the fight? How do you enter the opponent brain? How do you make your time management? How do you make practical decisions? When your position is getting worse, how do you come back? Like there are so many things, and it is not just knowing more chess, knowing more openings, knowing more endgame theory. It's not also just that. There is this other very, very important part, and it is everywhere. It's not that everyone can come read 100 business books and be a successful leader and make a $1 billion company. It's not that way, sir. There is always something inner things that courses and books, they rarely teach such things. And the third thing I would say that in adult improvements, there are so many advice in how to improve at chess, right? But I think it's all comes into this three, which is study, practice, and fix. We can open and discuss more how to study, how to practice. Do you need to play blitz game, rapid game, play against stronger opponents? But it's all about how do you practice? How do you study? Do you learn openings? You learn tactics, what you do? That's another thing. But it's study, it's practice, and the third one is fix. You need to analyze your games and fix. These are the three things: study, practice, fix, and what I called secret sauce. It's your mindset, which we talked about, the fighting spirit. What is there, including your mindset? What is your mindset when you are training? How effective you are is training? How you are performing at peak and everything there? Yeah, which is not easy to keep. The study, practice, fix. It's not easy to keep. Just imagine. Uh, I want to lose weight, right? There are lots of things in the world, right? How to lose weight, but it all comes to basically main three things, right? Diet, how do you exercise, and less known fact, how do you sleep?
Mm-hmm.
That's not easy to keep. Myself, I want to lose weight. All my life I was very good shape. I would swim 4 kilometers. I would do kung fu. I would do MMA. I never had belly. And now suddenly I have little bit belly. Okay. Sometimes when I say I have belly, some people are like, come on, you
Yeah, you
don't
look
have
pretty thin to me,
belly?
but
Yeah, but comparing to the shape I have. And I was like, I need to lose some weight and I need to get muscles. And I know perfectly it's diet, exercise, and sleep. I am not very well doing with that. I am not very well keeping that. And the same comes and back to the chess improvement. Often some people want just to play. It's not easy for them just to sit and study. They want to play. There are people who just want to study.
yeah,
They
that
want
too.
to read book by book, course by book. They cannot force themselves to play and put in practice what they have learned. By the way, we can talk about this later. I think you are not keeping good balance. I checked your profiles and I prepared why you are not. I think you are not playing enough.
I think you
And the
might be
third,
right. You might be onto something there.
yeah. And the third one, it's not easy to sit and analyze the games, especially when you lose, right? You play very bad game. You failed there. You did that mistakes. It's not easy to just keep discipline and say, before starting a new session, I'm going to analyze my game. That's not easy. So the study practice fix is just simple, but it's just not as easy to keep as when you want to lose weight. So there's also a simple formula. You have good diet, you have good sleep, and you have good exercise. You are there, but it's not easy. And here we come why so many adult improvers are not making what they want.
Yeah, and it's very well said. And by the way, Avtik, one of his, he writes regular blog posts for Chessmood, and the study, practice, play, repeat framework is laid out in one of the blog posts that I'll look to. And of course, it's similar to some of the main advice I give in my book. But to Avtek's point, the gap between saying and doing is always the problem, and I'm no exception in that regard. But one question I had from both what you've been saying and from reading your blog post is you mentioned, of course, the importance of both studying and playing. But in some cases, and this is something getting to what you were saying earlier about how things have changed, it used to be you studied an opening and you might not get to practice it. But do you recommend like targeted playing? Like, for example, if you're studying an opening, should you make efforts to play that particular opening against a sparring partner? Or is it just like you study what you study and you make sure you get some games in? You know what I mean?
Yes, of course. I'll tell you one story. So I was working with a student. maybe a year ago it was. And he came with a game and he said, like, coach, I need to work my tactics. And I was like, huh? Tactics was the strongest his point. And he was like, yeah, 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 yeah. So look at my game. And I checked his game. From the opening, he got advantage. And engine was saying, okay, your position is plus 0.3. You have advantage. And I asked him a few questions. What's this opening you are playing? You have never played that. What's this? And that, yeah. And he actually bought that course from Chessable. Quite good quality course. Then what's happening is, when I'm asking him, why did you lose? He said, like, on this move 35, he blundered very bigly tactic and he lost. Now I'm reviewing the game. After the opening 0.3, I'm asking him a few questions. Hey, so what are your plans of this position? He's here, like, okay, let me help. What are the pieces you want to trade in this position? It's not clear answers. What will happen in the end game? Do you want to trade pieces and go to the end game or not? What are your weaknesses? What are the problems of your position? What are the problems of the opponent's position? Where is the dynamic part of the game? He had no clear answer. And I was like, okay, let's look at your time, how you spent time on each moves. And we are going just right after the opening was finished. The next move we spent 15 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 12, then 15, then 20. And of course, he got into big time trouble. And in time trouble and such a big, complex fighting position, anyone can blunder. Anyone, including Carlsen. Yeah. So what was his problem? He learned the opening, he studied that, but studying opening is not, you don't know that opening. You don't feel the opening. You don't feel it, the nuances of the position, where the pieces should be, what are the trades you want to do, what are the both plans. You don't fully understand that. So here there are two fixes. One is watching model games, but not just going to ChessBase or Lee Chess or just watching some games, but it is watching model games commented by strong players or by dead players. So the player will explain why they did X, Y, Z thing. It can be also watching some stream where the guy who taught you the opening is streaming and playing that opening, yeah? And the other is practicing. So if you are changing just one opening, for example, you are playing white, you play e4 or your life, but now against Caro-Kann, you don't play advanced variation, but you play exchange variation, yeah? So it's just you are changing just one opening, then it makes sense to find a training partner and to play that position over and over again, and then do what? To fix the game, see where you went wrong. Where it was like you had advantage but you lost. What are the things you forgot in the opening, etc. Yeah. Uh, so practicing and deeply learning that it's important in that way with training partner. However, if you are changing your full opening repertoire, you're not just changing how you play against Caro-Kann, but you are changing and playing instead of e4, you play against d4. Sorry, instead of e4, you play d4, or instead of d4, you switch to e4. So it makes sense for you, just you learned everything from scratch, you just play randomly. Blitz rapid games against different types of players, because then you will practice every game. You play from d4, you switch to e4, you face e5, you face c6, c6 at everything. So you practice everything. But yeah, practicing is must. Like learning the feeling, deeply feeling the opening, not just learning the move sequence. Now, especially now, yeah, people often think that it's knowing opening is when you know the sequence. It's not. It's understanding the philosophy, the deepness of the opening, the deepness of the pawn structures, and the dynamic will happen in the position. That is knowing your opening.
Easier said than done, of course, though.
Of course, it's lots of work. I remember when I was playing professional chess, I got an advice that to cross 26 and get to 27, I need to stop my French, my favorite French, and to switch to e5. And I tried that. I learned all the opening. I trained, I practiced, but I never felt the e5 positions. I never felt the Ruy Lopez. But I don't felt it mean it's not that I had like my strategical play was my strength all the time. Yeah. It's not that I didn't feel like at all zero, but on grandmaster level, I didn't feel it. I got good positions everywhere, every time good position, but then I had so many bad results, so badly. I never learned, and it took serious time to practice. Once I was talking to Levon Aronian many years ago, maybe 5 years ago, and I asked him, uh, why does he think his result is declining a little bit? Because he was 2800 and now it was declining his results. He said something it was so interesting and so unexpected. He said, because I'm a D4 player and I missed something big in my life, I didn't play E4. Now I'm learning E4, I'm practicing them, I'm starting to learn the E4. Of course, I understand that my result will decline, but I hope with time I will understand the E4 position and my results will go up. So even at that level, when you are 2800, he was number 2 at some point, and he's saying, I'm learning E4 and I don't feel now the positions. 2800, of course, when he says I don't feel the position, it's not that he
Right.
doesn't feel, of course, but on that level he was feeling I'm still not there. So learning new opening, it's not that like you learn the move sequence and you are done. No, it's not. That's why what we build at Chessmood is we are streaming the openings we are teaching. So the students learn the move sequence. They can over and over see that openings in practice against different levels, against different types of players. I remember we had a student who came, he was 2200 about, and he was knight f3 player. He took some course on Chessable again, and he was asking me if he should switch to Chessmood repertoire. And I said, no, you should not. He knew very well his knight f3 stuff, very well. He said, like, what I should do? I said, go and find that guy who recorded the course that you have learned and ask him if he will help you, if he will analyze your games, fix your mistakes, explain you the nuances of the positions. Check out if that person is streaming and he's playing the openings that he's teaching. That can be very powerful for you to understand that opening better. This is something I always recommend. So, for example, if you are following Robert Ramirez, the guy who is having a good content on YouTube and he is teaching Burke and King's Indian, yeah? Okay, you learned Burke and King's Indian. Now, one of your next steps, the most productive things you can do now is watching him
Yeah.
playing Burke and King's Indian. So you see him practice. He plays and comments on the games, commentates, explains the nuances of the pawn structures that you can feel, that can face all the time. So that can be very, very productive and efficient way to improve.
Yeah, and I'm not judging people who make courses on openings they don't play or they don't exclusively play, but Robert's a good example because I interviewed him, great guy, and yeah, he's like he'll fight you if you say the perk is terrible, even though a lot of people think the perk is terrible.
He fought me. He
Yeah.
fought me. We had a video with him. I showed him how we are playing chessboard and where the position is just crushing +1. And he argued, but just I love that.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Yeah, it's good. You got to feel
he
invested.
does great. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, like to your point about like making sure you know the opening inside and out, you guys are rolling out this fixed mood thing. So I hadn't looked under the hood in Chessmood in a while, as regular listeners know. And as we'll probably talk about off tick, I'm trying to get out of I'm trying to sort of stop taking a break and get back to work. But it's been some months and I'm having trouble pushing through. But anyway, in checking out Fixed Mood, it's a cool resource to actually make sure that you aren't making opening mistakes. Could you explain how it works, Avtik?
Yeah, sure. So it's just a very, very small part of what we are building now. And the biggest, it's the whole AI coach. And fixed mode is just a very small part of the iceberg, like very, very small. The AI coach, people might look at Chessboard now, it's a place where it has lots of courses and you just have access to all of them. It is now, but it's not what it will be in the next 5 years. It will be something very, very different. Um, The AI coach, I always had this idea in my mind that there can be AI coach, that many things the AI can do, actually, but I didn't want to give the AI coach all the teaching, and now the AI coach will check your games and say, Ben Johnson, great, so here is your problems. Now you go buy this book, buy that course, buy that article, etc. Yeah. So we wanted to build everything at Chessmood. And then when the AI coach with no additional fee will tell you, you go this, you watch this, you solve these puzzles, you read this article, etc. So the AI coach, what is going to do in the next 2 years, I guess, maybe one, if we are lucky and we get strong people in our team. Based on your nickname, you just provide your nickname and you upload your games. The more help you give, the better it will work. It will tell you what to study, what time control to play, when to play, and it will help you to analyze your games. So it will do all the part with study, practice, fix, and it will also help you with your mindset. It might tell you, Ben, you are when you are losing a game, you are losing a few games in a row, and your quality goes down. So you are having a problem with your mood, or you are resigning in okay positions. So this AI coach will do lots of things that normally the coaches are doing. And the fix mode part is just a little part that will help with fixing. Fixing the study practice fix, this last part. And I believe that the right coach should be involved in this last part, in the fixing. I believe that the right coach should not teach you too many. Many things that nowadays coaches are teaching can be recorded, which they are not doing because financially it will not make sense.
Yeah.
So the practice, they can just teach you what time control to play. Should you play with increment or not? Should you play blitz or rapid, etc. But fixing, when you play the game and they fix the game, this is the most important part where the right coach can be helpful. And at Chessmood, we noticed something very interesting. We have just enormous amount of success stories and success rate is very high. But we noticed this. The students who work with Chessmood courses and they also work with one of our coaches, their success rate is 100%. And what we were doing with our coaches, we were working only with the fixing part. We would tell them, we would give the study plan, more personalized because of their weaknesses. You watch these courses and this section, then this, and this, and that, etc. You play with this time control, and then once a week would go over the student's game and analyze the games, fix the mistakes they would do wrongly in the openings, and put everything in the right direction. Now, if we realize this can be automated, and what fix mode does is basically quite simple, even though behind that there is very difficult and complex algorithm.
Right.
Even though developers might say that it's easy, many come and like, oh, this is the difficulties. So what we built is this. You play your game, you learn new opening. Then you are practicing, you are playing lots of that opening. Then what you do? You should download your games, compare your openings with your PGN files or with your course, whatever you had there, and find the mistakes. Without that, you will never learn your opening and you will always do mistakes. But that takes lots of time and people are often getting lazy to download the games, compare, and it's manual, lots of work. Now what Fixmode does, it compares your opening with your PGN file or with the course and says, Ben, you have learned these openings. This is your PGN file. You have played this amount of games. You played 100 games. In 35, you went wrong. Here are the positions that you went wrong. Here is the video where you can go and review the variation. Here is your PGN file where you can go and review the variation. Here is the test drive feature where you can go and test that variation and see if you really remember or not, etc. So Fixmode basically does a very simple thing. You just put all your mistakes, all your deviations from your PGN file. So this is the very small part of the iceberg where we are helping with the fixing part. In the future, the Fixmode will also tell all your blunders, all your positional mistakes. We will tell you where you spent badly your time and where you had bad time management. We will tell you where you lose lots of games in a row and you tilted there. The AI can understand so much and it can do so many things smartly And even though it might be scary for the coaches, what is coming, actually, it can be a great tool for the great coaches. Yeah, the people who are just making money with teaching, they will suffer because we will do like just 100x better than those people. But the great coaches will use our AI coach as a great help. And myself, I'm going to do. When I was going through your games to understand where are your weaknesses, what you are doing wrong, I spent time. Maybe about 2 hours I spent.
Wow.
With the AI coach that I am having in my brain, that hopefully it will be in 1 to 2 years in this year, I could sit in 5 minutes.
Wow. All right. Well, a lot to follow up on. First, just as an explainer. So yeah, it connects directly, like the Chessmood website connects directly to your chess.com or Lee Chess account, and then tells you where your first opening mistake was but this is within the Chessmood repertoire, like the Scotch and the closed Sicilian. I remember you guys are recommending.
Yeah. So this
Go
is
ahead.
just a beta version. And now we have even not version 1. We have still 0.3 beta version, which does already a lot. And it works only with Chessmood openings. The version 0.5, you will upload your PGN files, whatever you are playing. And the direction I'm giving to our team is that, guys, it should be so perfect, so nice and so smooth that even a player like Anish Giri will come and use Fixmod. He will upload, they are not just one opening repertoire. Maybe it's Anish Giri. He plays Grufeld, Semislav, Queen's Gambit. He has big PGN files.
Yeah, he
It
plays
should
everything.
work. It should work. So whenever my team is coming up, but who will have 5 opening repertoire? I'm like, Anish Giri. So guys, our dream is to make it so perfect that even the top players are going to use this fixed mode. And whenever they learn some new opening and they are playing, practicing, it will help them. And again, for now, it's just the opening part, but in the future, so many other things.
Okay. Yeah. And we should say, so Avtik, this will be out right around Thanksgiving. And Chessmood is doing a free month membership that you guys can link by clicking on the link in the description or going to chessmood.com/Ben. We should say I'm not being paid for Avtik to come on this show, but if you end up using Chessmood and then later becoming a paid member months down the line, in the interest of disclosure, I would get revenue from that if you were to sign up. But I mean, to get into my history with using Chessmood, I've used it off and on since our first interview way back in 2020. But as I've mentioned, both in my book and in past podcasts, I'm not a huge video consumer, a chess video consumer, partially due to time constraints, partially just due to my personal orientation towards reading things. I'm a book lover, of course, even if it doesn't necessarily help my chess as much. But these new tools that Chessmood are rolling out really are exciting, even though, as you say, the AI might be a little scary for trainers. Now, one thing I touched on in my book, Optic, is like it does seem like with chess and artificial intelligence, the last frontier, the thing that hasn't been tackled yet, is for AI to be able to tell you in words exactly what you did wrong. Now, I know that there are products on the marketplace that try to do this, and stuff like the game review on chess.com, might tell you one or two things, but something that you could just like ChatGPT, telling it to tell you a story, something where you could input your game and you could say, all right, tell me the whole story of why I lost this game. Like that capability isn't amazing yet. And chess coaches certainly might fear the day when it is amazing. Is that something that's going to be part of your AI offering?
That's a very deep and interesting question. So when I said the fixed mode is part of the AI, how the fixed mode works, it's not fully AI. It's just algorithm how it works. It's not the real AI. There is no LLM. It's just algorithm which is working very smart, including the many other like very features that are coming very quickly. So if you go to chessmood.com and you go to your AI coach, you will see 6 features that are coming. The 6th one, next to each of them, it's written coming soon. Chessmood beta version is live. The others are coming soon, except one, which is Game written coming not soon. The coming not soon, what
Coming
Game will
someday.
do?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the most difficult part.
Yeah.
And that's the most exciting part for the developers. So whenever like they have finished all my tasks and now they are waiting for me to give what's the next direction, they have free time, they are always going there. That's the most interesting part. I see some products, some websites are trying to do that. They are saying they are doing that. Um, Part of that is it's really doing, but not in human words, what you said. It can easily, not much easily to say, uh, you are your blunders, you are bad at tactics, or you are not just bad at tactics, you are bad in hidden pins, just specific things. It also can say, Ben, you are okay in attack, but with opposite castle, you are not that good. That it's not AI, even though it seems that AI, it's not really AI. AI is explaining it in a human way. This is the plans, etc. That's the difficult part. That's the most difficult part. But we are going to make it.
Amazing.
Not
Yeah.
not the fastest way. And we honestly put it, not coming soon. But just as like 7 years ago, I was dreaming we are going to have a library of content all made by grandmasters. So it will take students from beginner to master, minimum master level. That was like how you are going to make all those courses, that. Yeah, but now after some years we are there. So the similar thing is going to be with AI coach. Even now it might seem like it's such far thing. It's far. It's like, yeah, it's far. And as I have in my desktop, something that pushes me forward, I have this one picture that my designer made for me, and it's written one step at a time. And that's the biggest was my pusher forward because often you have big plans and you understand it's not going to be in the 1 month. So it's not super easy to just go forward when you know it's like 2 years project. It's not easy, but just this one step at a time you build that. So we are going there. So one step at a time, we will be there. And this episode gonna be a memory. And hopefully in the future we are going to cut the moment where I'm saying we are going to have, and then the day where we already have it. And then yeah, it will be totally revolutionary way for chess improvers to learn, where they just connect their nickname, Chess.com, Chess, or the third big platforms that will come after 5 years. I don't know. They
Uh-huh.
upload their games, but the more help they give to our AI coach, the better they get the very personalized study plan based on their weaknesses, their goals, their time, their age, everything. It will tell them exactly what to do. It will tell them when to play. It will just take the hand of the student and take them to the next level. So this is where we are going, and this is for all our team very exciting times.
And it's like many things with AI, it's both exciting and a little bit scary, for people who work in chess.
Yes, it is. It is, but just as it was, internet was also scary.
Yeah.
Many years ago, internet was scary. And my favorite example are newspapers. Some were like, oh, this will not come, that, or some were scared, and now they don't exist. Some who realized that, yeah, internet is coming, and they just put all their content. They created the websites, where on the websites they would have all their news. They survived, and they even got larger audiences. Yeah. So AI is coming, so we either adapt it or we will be out of the game. So that's the new things coming with AI. And I think we should adapt that. And that can be scary, but also it helps massively. It
Yeah.
can help massively just the average person with their daily tasks. It can now I can just take my phone and talk to it and say, hey, my part had just this food, which is I have heard it's very bad for its health. What should I do? And it will tell me what should I do, like really direct best answer. And I don't need to just take my part and run to the hospital to mostly it can be so helpful. So yeah. It's scary, but also helpful.
Shout out to
And
your parrot. What's your parrot's name again, Aftik?
Yako.
Yaakov, right? And yeah, and Aftik was telling me
Yeah.
that he and his wife really enjoy traveling, and being a digitally based company. In theory, Aftik can travel a lot, but the only thing keeping him keeping him in Armenia is his parrot.
Yes, yes. With Parrot, you don't travel easily. He's also very sensitive, so he misses you, you miss him, so
You would
not easy.
think you could just get him to like fly beside the plane wherever you're going, just meet you in
Would
Thailand.
love that. Would love that. Unfortunately, there are lots of restrictions. You need to take blood, send to the other country, get visa for your part as well. So
Wow,
some complications.
unbelievable. Well, Avtik, I mean, the growth your company has shown since I last interviewed you is amazing. You said you just recently passed a revenue milestone. Is that right?
Yes. Even though it was not it was very one of the latest our metrics that we are tracking. So even the traditional company, this is for them one of the number one metrics, the revenue. Yeah. For us, it was not. It was one of the latest, the
Right.
revenue. So yeah, this year we are crossing 1 million in revenues. But I was super lucky to have the investors I have, which didn't push me further to have higher revenues. And the only thing they pushed me that was very interesting. So it can it can work with itself. So it can have the revenue and you use that revenue to invest further and don't be obliged to get more investments. And then me as the CEO and the founder become a slave of investors who will want me to push further and make sales and then join the company and just sell after 5 years. So even the revenue we got there, most of it are going it are all are being reinvested. So every month we are improving, we are hiring more people. And
Yeah, I
now
mean,
we are hugely investing in this AI coach, huge,
right. I was going to
massively.
ask, like, how many developers do you have on staff?
So it's more than 10 already there
Wow.
who are working on all these things. So it's we didn't want to have any profits. It was not, it was very far. And even for our investors, even though they are pushing us like just checking out the numbers, what are the numbers? Can the company function itself? Can it go further? Because the our main investor is my godfather. And we are very, very, very close. I'm going to his country. He's coming to my country. We are having weekly calls. And it's very interesting relations when investor doesn't want you to be a slave. And he knows. He knows that many companies who are raising big numbers and they are celebrating, they are hitting something that the founder is getting and becoming a slave. And then the investors are going to push them for the numbers. You bring this number, you bring this revenue, you bring this number, and then the founder should do all the things to make that. Otherwise, he will be out and they will change the CEO. And then this is how so many companies are getting ruined, unfortunately. So yeah, we are growing quite fastly, but at the same time, massively reinvesting in the future. And we want to change the whole experience of chess improvers, how they improve at chess. We want to change everything.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, it's impressive what you've done already. And last time we talked, you were, despite you say like not wanting to um, push too hard, you were putting in really long days. I know you've been reading, at least especially at that time, a lot of business non-chess books. Are you working just as hard, or have you managed to find a bit more balance 4 years later?
I wish I would find balance. Um, that's one of the things that I'm still experimenting, learning, and trying to find it. And this is one of the things that I need to fix, hopefully in the next year. Now I have not found a good balance. Often I am overworking. Uh, I got stronger development team. I got stronger managers, and I thought I will have air to breathe. But it was not that easy because now they are crushing every task.
Huh.
And the tasks they would do it in 10 days, now they are doing in 1 day, and they are saying to me, what's next? So I need to work a lot in order to keep this speed. So no, I'm not finding the balance. I'm going to experiment in the next year many things. And yeah, I'm at the same time working a lot on my personal development as I did all my life. And I believe that mindset is very important. I believe that when you learn something new, there are people who have done what you want to do. So it can be a big shortcut to learn from them. So yeah, I'm reading lots of books, I'm watching courses, I have mentors, and I'm trying to be better day after day, as a business leader, as a person, as a husband, and just every day grow.
Sounds good. Any particular book recommendations, even outside of chess?
Yeah, I love that you said outside of chess because I think people are buying so many books and they are not
Hey, now that's
finishing
my
them.
territory. Don't tell people to stop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, with books. Okay. Um, I think I think the number one book for personal development, it's a very unknown book. And the author is just a criminal for not advertising it. Uh, it's called Beyond Positive Thinking. A very bad title. I would skip when I see such titles, I just skip it. Uh, but it has some very interesting subtitles. So it is mm, a no-nonsense formula. Let me see. A
I'm looking it
no-nonsense
up.
formula for getting the results you want.
Okay.
It's written by Dr. Robert Anthony. The guy had CDs many, many years ago. He would record CDs, and one guy, one of the richest guy in California, he who was in a lot in personal development, found this like what a treasure. And he started to buy these CDs and give to all his friends and family members, and then to just give to strangers. Just guys, watch this. Eventually, this guy also wrote this book, Beyond Positive Thinking, not the blah blah stuff. And I think it is the number one book for personal development. And I was a lot in this area, in all the like advanced things, including the visualization, as
Not
building
chess visualization.
self-image.
Yeah.
Yeah, just advancing that for many people. It'll be like, what are you doing? You are just sitting, and what are you doing there? But this one just connects all the dots. How the what's the importance of unconscious mind, how you can fuel it, what's the importance of your self-image, and how to build a strong self-image. It goes just beyond, and it's written in such a simple, nice language. So to me, that's the number one book in development, personal development. And the other books that I highly recommend that I see is that in the chess world, people have lots of excuses. I like this book written by Alex Banayan called The Third Door, which has lots of interesting stories from people like Steve Spielberg to Warren Buffett, and that it was not just given to them. That Steven Spielberg was not just a talented filmmaker. He just got into the bus, he hid it in Hollywood for days, and he got his way with just excuses mindset. So that's the second book. The third book for just cleaning the soul, I guess I would recommend Eckhart Tolle, New Earth.
Uh,
That goes very, very deep into human ego, and I think it will help many people. To me, it helped a lot with cleaning myself, cleaning my ego, harnessing it better. I'm not saying that I harness it fully. It's no, not true. But just to understand like better what is ego and how to harness it, and also to understand others. So that was a big game changer in my life. By the way, the book was recommended to me by Sagar Shah, who
oh,
is my
cool.
spiritual brother, and we are sharing with each other lots of books, reading lots of stuff. So that's three book. I guess I would tell it now. There are many, many more. I have even an article. I don't remember the title. It was something like must know non-chess books every chess player should read. Something like that title was, where I have more in the list. But yeah, for now, I would say these three. And I think that if people buy that books and finish it, they will be in the next level in their lives. And
Okay.
hopefully in chess too, because I think
Excellent.
that two are very, very, they go together.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they do. Yeah, I read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, but I did not read the one that you mentioned.
I also read The Power of Now, and I think this new art, it's like weeks further. Like
Wow. Okay. Um,
it's another thing.
yeah, and the first book Avtik mentioned, Beyond Positive Thinking, $3 on Kindle as we record this. So that's an auto buy. If someone recommends a book that's $3, I'm getting it. So I'll be doing that as soon as we sign off. But last thing, Avtik. So you mentioned I sent you my games. You had a look at them. I wished that they were a little more current because, like with tournament games in particular, it's like if I'm going to send you 40 games, some of them are going to be from like 3 years ago, and it's like I hope I'm playing a little better now. So, with the excuses out of the way, what did you observe if you had a chance to look at them?
Um, so in study practice fix, like one of the things I have in my article, big chapter is like how to keep the balance,
Hmm.
how much you study, how much you practice, and how much you fix. And I see that some of your opponents, you know what you are doing, but often you are out of your way too quicker, even if there is just the same position, just a little bit another move.
Yeah.
So you are not keeping the practice in the right balance. I think you are very far from that from it. And if I was your coach and we have to make you 100 points higher in the next 3 months, I would say, man, like you are going to practice the opening you are playing, and practice means also blitz games. Just playing, feeling them, checking your games, seeing the where you deviated, where you made a big mistake. What are the positions that you are like, why engine says this move, coach? What's the problem of that? Understanding them better, because uh, there is this word I created, mopening. Mopening, it is the stage between opening and middle game, which is very important. The opening is about to finish what are the plans in the middle game. So if you really deeply understand your openings, you spend your time much better. You easily understand what's happening in the game. You transition to the middle game stage better. You have usually better time comparing to the opponent. Then when it's coming the critical moments of the game, you are having more time, etc. So I think you should improve the practice part. I'm not sure how you are fixing. I've seen your comments, the pigeon files. I've seen you are doing it. Yeah, not sure exactly how much you would do if you practiced it a lot, and you
Yeah.
didn't play just one tournament month, but you played a lot, like 100 games, 100 online games, or 100 games with your training partner, how you would analyze. But practice for sure need to be added in your training regime if you want to go to the next level. This is what I would say. This is what I noticed in the few hours of watching your games. The other things, there are many things like nuances. For
Right.
example, you are much better in dynamic game, clearly, than in strategical game. And yeah, you should improve your strategical game, this way, watch this course, etc. But practice is the number one. You should
Okay.
practice more.
Yeah, that's good advice. And at my age, I've interviewed people. Like I recently interviewed this adult improver, Matt Gross, who finally made master. He's like a year younger than me, mid to late 40s. And Terry Chapman, who's become like a famous adult improver because he was in Matthew Sadler's book, um, uh, Chess for Life, and Matthew Sadler and Natasha Regan. And then I ultimately interviewed him. And he mentioned, and Doug Ecker, another accomplished older player, like as people get older, I think the ones who have success often do, especially at the higher level, they do start to gravitate towards studying openings more because it's easier. It's harder to improve your calculation skills as you get older. Like no matter how hard you try, you're kind of running up a down escalator, So you've got gravity going against you. Whereas when you try to just deepen your understanding of something, I do think there's more runway. And you're right that that's something that even when I was playing a lot of tournaments, I wasn't playing like an hour a day of blitz and review and blitz and review. And it's hard because, I'm like you, even though this is the 8th year of Perpetual Chess, it's still a chess startup. I still have a family. So it's hard to say, like, I'm going to dedicate this amount of time. But you certainly can't expect results if you don't dedicate it.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And the things that I know how to lose weight, but I'm not losing it.
Yeah.
It comes to what's my why? Why do I want to lose? And I'm just not wanting it very badly.
Right.
I
Yeah.
want to lose my belly. It would be nice if I don't have belly, but there are other things that are priority. How
Yeah.
my brain works, what's my energy level, what's my happiness, do I have that? So there are days where I don't have a mood and I cannot go further my work. I have things to be done. I will take ice cream. I will eat my ice cream. It will change my mood. I will come and crush everything because that's my priority. Even
Right.
though I know that it didn't help me with my belly. So often it comes to what's our why, which I often talk about the Chessmood, yeah? What's our why and how badly we want that? Do
Yeah.
we want it as badly as we want to breathe? Or we just would not be bad if we could improve at chess, or would not be
Yeah.
bad if I lose my belly. Yeah. For me, my belly is like would not be bad. It's not really I want to just leave everything and do that. So
Yeah.
that's the difference it's coming. And
Well said. Yeah, that's the challenge for sure. So yeah, in closing, listeners can check out Chessmood, one month free membership, very generous. And I checked with Avtik. I wanted to make sure. I don't like it when you sign up for some site and they tell you something's free, but you have to submit your payment information because I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna forget to pay. I'm gonna forget to cancel, and then 5 years later, that free membership has cost me $1,000 or something. So Avtik assured me you don't have to submit payment information, so you can just check it out. And if you like it, stick around. And if you don't, then move on, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. It is our just annual Thanksgiving giveaway, which we are doing every year, and we are doing different things for different people. We are doing different things for our existing students because they are already students. So we do different things for them. I do different things for my family. So at least once a year, at least this time, I'm like, okay, let's just give a few days, few weeks for some resources from me and thank you people. I'm sending thank you messages to my people. So I think it's a beautiful holiday, Thanksgiving. It's one of the holidays that I wish that we have in our Armenian culture, this Thanksgiving. And yeah, we are starting it much earlier because I don't want to mess it up with the Black Friday created by marketers,
Right.
and which I am not happy with that. So we are starting the Thanksgiving earlier. And yeah, I'm happy that all of your listeners will get the gifts. They can check it out. And yeah, if it was put also your credit card, it's not a gift, it's trial or something.
Right.
We
Yeah.
want to just give it a gift. And of course, most of the people will not continue and they're like, okay, I have other things. And still in the 1 month, they can watch many courses for free, develop their chess. I'm very happy for that. If they continue with Chessmood, okay, I'm happy too. So, but it's just that our traditional annual Thanksgiving giveaway, which we are giving to our users and to my friends and partners, links that they can also get access to gifts, which I'm happy to give to you, Ben.
Excellent. Yeah. So that's chessmood.com/Ben. And again, I'll also put the link in the description. But Avtuk, can't wait to see all these upgrades roll out. I know some of them are mere months away. And obviously the video library is already huge. And I've run into the Chessmood like if you're like a regular tournament player, sometimes you come across people with the Chessmood repertoire,
Yeah.
and they know their openings. So
Yes, yes,
so
yes, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And now we are getting more requests that from our students that, oh, what to play against Chessmood openings because we are playing in this tournament and there are so many people playing Chessmood openings. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. But this is only the beginning. I'm sure that it will, develop and change from here. But Avta, great to catch up. Any closing thoughts before we say goodbye for this time?
Thank you very much, Ben, for having me. I'm wishing best to the chess improvers. I'm I'm pushing them to achieve their goals, but also uh, chess is just a part, like one of the games we are playing in our lives. We are playing family game, job game, hobby games, many things. Yeah, so chess is just part. So just I don't want anyone thinks that once I become title players was 2000 become a grandmaster as that's the way to happiness. It's not. There are so many grandmasters who are not happy. It's just part of the game, very small part of the game, and just realize it's part of the game. Have fun and don't forget about fun. People so often are so focused about improving, they are suffering there, but at the end it's fun. Yeah, and just the money and everything we are not going to take to our next life with us. Our rating we are also not going to take with us.
Right.
So, but the fun is there. So I wish everyone will not forget about this fun part and enjoy their journey.
Good advice, and all the more reason I should be playing online blitz because it's fun. All right,
You have
all right.
it.
Thanks again, and that was great closing advice. Talk to you soon.
Thank you too. Thank you too
Okay.
for having me.